Following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
My name is James Kaiser.
Commander Negron.
Kevin Hogan.
Hi, I'm Dylan Fix-Carter, and this is Kyber Cave.
Watching Kyber Cave.
Kyber Cave.
Kyber Cave.
After Dark.
Aren't they Cthulhu? Yes, they are. Oh, who's a cute little eldritch horror?
Hey, I love it. We have an intro.
You're welcome.
Yay. Good job, Ezra. I love it. And with a lot of our favorite people.
Oh, there's more. There's more people coming on.
There's more?
There's
Wait,
more.
There's more.
So you want to sneak little peek on who's gonna come on to that?
Yeah, let's see who else is going to be on there. I'm
We have
excited,
C.
dude.
Andrew
I didn't
Nelson.
think anybody liked us.
We have C. Andrew Nelson.
Oh!
We have potentially Dominic Pace,
Oh, wow. Dude, we're getting all the ballers.
Alan Fernandez. We have Christian Castro,
Ooh, look at that.
and more to come. I'm not gonna say.
We'll force Eric into it tomorrow or on Sunday night when he's in there. Hello,
Sure, why not?
William.
Hello, hello.
It's funny. He says hello, everyone, and it's just us two right now. But we have a special surprise for tonight. Tonight might get crazy. Tonight might get out of hand. Who knows what might happen after tonight? Clothes might go flying off. The equation, the Earth might spin off of its orbits. Who knows? Was that enough hype for this? If
like
you
that
guys
was
don't
enough
like our
hype.
guests, then I'm just kind of screwed on my hype. But I'm excited. Hello,
I am
Say
too.
Wong and Steve. Thank
I
you
like
for
Say
tuning in.
Wong had to put the hello the two of you.
Hell yeah,
Say
I
that
know.
hello,
Like,
everyone.
God, you guys are lame. There's only two of you tonight. Jesus, why did I even tune in? All right, let's rectify that right now. Coming all the way from somewhere on the East Coast, please give it up for Miss Sleepy Sapphire herself, Miss Mercedes. We need like a drum roll or
Hello.
something. What is
How's it
going on,
going?
Mercedes?
Nothing much.
We are happy to have you on tonight.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Woohoo! But the fun doesn't stop there. Coming
Never.
directly from Reno, Nevada, the co-host of Pop Culture Kaboom! Give it up for Mr. Josh T. Grant!
What's up, guys?
Yay! How are you doing out there in Nevada tonight, sir?
I'm tired.
You're tired. Everybody else is like 3 hours ahead. They get to go to bed at like 3 a.m. You're the only one here that's on the West Coast. Well, no, we got two more from the West Coast actually.
Why is it bitching?
Don't tell them. You're not supposed to tell them how many there are.
Oh, yeah. I know we're stacking up now, huh? I can't even see like the bottom of all the.
Scroll down.
Oh my goodness, there's more down there. All right. So the next guest, let's go. Let's keep it back on the East Coast. This gentleman is a Saber Master Supreme. He is the owner of Star Forge Saber. Please give it up for Forge Master Jim.
Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hello there, sir. So good to see you tonight. Thank you for staying up with us.
Well, I was here an hour ago, but somebody told me the wrong time to get on.
That couldn't have been me.
Wonder who that could be, man.
It was him.
Oh, man. All right. And two more guests. And then we may have a special guest popping in, even more guests in this. Two more guests, our good friends here in our local area. We love them so much. If you are not checking out their podcast, what the hell is wrong with you? Please give it up for Jamez. Is it 9,000? What's your number, dude?
How about 5,000?
5,000. Jamez 5,000. And young Phil of Distance Nerding.
I can't do this. Wait a minute. There we go.
Hey, come on, guys.
Thank you to my adoring fans. Thank you to my adoring fans there. All right.
Why the hell did we have him up first? He's the one that actually had the
Drop
track.
well.
All right. We'll restart. Let's just.
Yeah. Rewind.
Everybody gets a shuffle.
Why did I get moved?
Here's the story
Now, why am I in the middle?
of a lovely
Oh, wow.
lady.
Why am
I
I
used to
Mr.
be in
Pink?
the middle.
Top
wanna
three,
be
let's
Mr.
go.
Brown.
Top three, let's go.
Oh wow! Thanks.
All over the place. What is happening?
So yeah,
Oh.
tonight
Hey,
is
is this
going
better?
to be fun. It's going to be a bit of a juggle, but I think these are some good topics to bring in some minds of all different kinds. So like our first topic that we are going to be talking about tonight is movie theaters. Do we even need them anymore? We got streaming services. We have all these other we have DVDs. We have all these other ways to watch movies now. And with the coronavirus, people not being able to go to theaters. I know I'm just slurring.
You're all over the place
Virus?
today, man.
Virus.
Is it a violin? Is it a
Hey,
COVID
fuck you.
violin?
You know what the hell I meant to say.
You've been hitting a little too hard there, bud. Bring it down a notch. You need to start smoking before about an hour before you told me to be on.
Welcome to California. So are movie theaters obsolete nowadays? Are they still viable? Jared Leto had the reason that this topic came up was Jared Leto was doing a commercial for Morbius or a reel or something.
You mean
and he
Jared Leto?
Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are just fucking with me tonight, man.
Here, let's just put
You're
him in the
mixing up
middle.
Jared Leto and
Yeah,
Jared Leto.
Oh,
Easy to do.
I will be the last one to speak. Anyways, he had a quote saying that Marvel was the only reason movie theaters exist anymore. And I was wondering, is that true?
Hmm.
Who we starting with? Are we starting with Sleepy up there?
Well, I guess Josh is up top. So Taco Cat, you're first.
Ladies
Whoa,
first.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, then switch the positions, rotate them around.
God, you guys suck.
Wow.
Okay.
No,
Ladies
put me
first.
at the bottom. Just throw me in.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
don't care anymore.
Oh,
Gotta get my
wow.
throat warmed up.
Oh, wow, really?
Josh is getting pushed back. One more word out of here, you and you're off the show, buddy. We're kicking you to the last spot.
Fine.
All right, I guess
Okay.
we'll start with Mercedes. Let's go.
So yeah, we'll start with me. I think that movie theaters are definitely vital. And it's only like really based on like personally. I know there's like you have the half that likes to stay home and watch, this, self-streaming services, but then there's also that thing where you just can just go out with, like as a couple or with friends and enjoy a movie with, loudest sounds and a big screen, things like that. What I feel like would make movie theaters more enjoyable though is especially because of COVID and whatnot, is to just redesigning the structure and architecture, like spacing it out.
Okay, that's definitely an interesting thought. I know during after the pandemic, my first movie back to the theaters with these two guys, we went to the Eternals, and that just having that feeling of being able to step back into a theater again and hang out with your friends and enjoy it on the big screen. It's not quite the same as watching it at home on your TV.
Yeah, it's not, because you're not really as dangerous as it is. If it wasn't for the whole danger of COVID, it also just being able to go out and building your immunity against certain bacteria kind of helps too. So when you're staying indoors all the time, you're kind of like constricting yourself.
What are your thoughts, Jim?
Well, I'm a little
You seem
biased.
to be opposite. You seem to go the other direction, right? You like to be at the house instead of at the theater.
Well, there's a bunch of reasons for that. When I was younger, I went to well, first of all, I was homeschooled, so I was almost never in school when my friends were. So anytime that I could go to a theater in the middle of the day, I usually went, and I was usually the only person there.
Jim, really quickly, I apologize. Ezra, can you do juggling on the directing as well?
Yeah. What do you want? one.
Well, I mean, if it's Jim talking primarily, bring Jim up, and you can, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Put me center spotlight here. So yeah, I went to movie theaters, and like half the time I was the only person in the theater. It didn't matter what movie it was. Then when I hit college and real life after college, half the time I was in a theater and it was either dead or packed. If it was packed, I always get to sit next to the person that can't shut up for the whole movie and screams in your ear at everything.
Right.
And then if it was quiet, you got like the one person who decided that they wanted to have a full phone conversation 10 feet away from you and had to make sure you knew it. So, yeah, I'm a little biased. I like the first, and especially the first movie I went back to see after shutdown was freaking Mugen Train in Japanese with subtitles. I had no idea what the hell was going on in that entire movie. And after I was done, I kept asking my girlfriend why Naruto was in the damn movie because I had no clue who any of these characters were.
El Soria, thank you for tuning in and joining us. Yeah, I can definitely see that. What are your thoughts, Mr. Chamanez 5000?
Well, the pandemic has definitely changed me because wearing pants is such a hassle nowadays. I enjoy my couch. It's probably filthy, but I don't care because it's my couch. And I enjoy sitting on my couch watching everything that I can. But also, I have 3 kids, so I enjoy feeling like a normal human. I enjoy getting out. Like when we went and saw the Batman the other day in a theater, paying for overpriced popcorn, making fun and having a shared experience. I miss that.
Right.
Yes.
So I thoroughly enjoyed like hanging out, even though I fell asleep 3 times during the movie. But it was still fun, joking around, having a good time, a shared experience, even with people we didn't know because young Phil over there couldn't keep his mouth shut. But everybody was entertained.
Right. I feel like there's a different experience. It was actually the 3 of us that went to Batman together, and this was after working all day at a con, so we were exhausted. But for me, it was. I know that weekend Batman had just come out like that Friday, and we went I think on Saturday. And for me, it was that I know that you guys are nerds. I knew that if I wanted to go see this movie, I wanted to be with people that would have kind of similar shared reactions, not somebody who didn't really care about that kind of stuff. So even though I was exhausted, like I was still up for hanging out with the boys and watching a Batman movie.
Yeah, totally. Right. Again, it's that shared experience, going out, having fun, that sort of thing. So I'm all for keeping movie theaters around.
Me too.
Overpriced, I don't care. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Josh, what are your thoughts? Okay, that's Phil.
I know. I was trying to drag it over and it wouldn't work.
Why is mine the one messing up, man? I go to the theater for the radio show. We'll see different movies. Now, obviously, the Eternals really turned me off to going back to the movie theater. I thought it was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. But generally, I like to actually sit at home, watch new movies, sit in my banana hammock, and just kind of chill out and watch.
Oh, you have a hammock.
Yeah, there you go.
Pants is what he's saying he has there.
Yeah, I like to go Borat style, But no, I think.
Wait, were we supposed to be wearing pants for this?
I'm not. That's the one advantage of doing a webcast.
No one told me anything.
The chest down.
Yeah, if I stand up, you might want to turn off the camera.
Who wants to wait? Come on.
Or zoom in, one of the two.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely
wow.
zoom in.
Well, you're gonna have to zoom out. There's a lot there.
Wow.
He is a Marine, so.
It's about the size.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You need a tweezer and some magnifiers for me. So I mean, just.
I'm not talking about the Marine here.
Mercedes is totally regretting coming on tonight.
Oh hell no, hell no! I'm thoroughly entertained.
Before you got here, Mercedes was saying some of the funniest shit on here.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's a legit medical condition. Okay, don't make fun of it.
What are?
Hey, it's your wife that has to, or your fiance that has to deal with it.
Yeah, and Jackie does deal with it. So,
so Josh, so you are a stay-at-home guy then?
I am, but at the same time, I do believe movie theaters are necessary still because I still like to go and enjoy and everything like that. I don't like paying the prices.
Right. So, are you? I mean, do you agree with what Jared Leto said about maybe the movie theater is really for those like big block office movies? Maybe it's for rom-coms. You don't necessarily maybe need to go to the theater.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I agree with him completely because, I mean, back where I used to live in Virginia, we used to have the Cinema Cafe.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and that place, I'd go and watch just the worst movie in the world just to go get their food and be able to relax and have a beer.
Sounds like you were in Virginia Beach.
Wait, Hampton.
What is
Yep,
the
that's where I
Cinema
was.
Cafe?
It's literally
a restaurant,
a theater with the restaurant in it with
actually,
beer.
we have one in.
Well, there's why it had beer. I mean,
yeah, it just
yeah,
James.
it
We
was
have
still theater.
There's one out here somewhere, right?
like I said, in Rockland, out this way.
Yeah, we'll have to go check that out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole
fuck, why
different
does New
experience
York
when you
not
have
have a theater that has beer?
like beer and meals and stuff like that.
Regal
I can't drink it because I'm diabetic, but it would have made watching freaking Dark Knight Rises a lot better.
Yeah, that's because he's a bat.
Hey, the Dark Knight wasn't the only thing rising.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phil, what are
Wow.
your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the theater? Is it dead? Is it still viable?
My thoughts on the theater. So here's the thing. You don't go to the movies to watch the movie. You go to the movies for the experience. You go to the movies to get the overpriced, like John has said, the overpriced popcorn, to get the snacks and everything that you do there, and to be immersed in the film that you're watching. You don't get that same immersion watching it on your TV. I have a surround sound system. I have my TV and I watch movies on that. It's still not the same.
Right.
I do believe that the theater is still viable. I believe that the greatest experience, I mean, to a point, they're re-releasing movies that they put on home video and on streaming service back in theaters because people want that theater experience.
Right.
Don't forget 4D.
And the 4D and all that kind of stuff too. But I mean, the idea is the reason it's still viable is because that entire thing I just mentioned is it's that experience that you don't get when you're at home.
Right.
Moving on from that, you do have a lot of people who are, are more comfortable watching it at home and everything like that, and more power to you. But the thing is, the theaters are still making money. You have a lot of directors now, and this is taking the comment that Jared Leto made. A lot of directors are saying that Marvel is the only thing that's making money, and Marvel is ruining the industry because people only go watch Marvel. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the theater is or that theater experience is being lessened because people go watch Marvel movies. There's an expectation that people have now because of Marvel movies and because of how kind of the bar that they're setting, right? But the thing is that, and especially right now during a pandemic, like you have a lot of like big directors that are complaining that people didn't go see their movie. Well, it's also because people are mostly afraid to go back to the theaters. That's going to start changing pretty soon because the science is starting to say that people are starting to realize the science is starting to say that even if you wear a mask, you're going to catch it.
Yeah, restrictions are lifting as well.
Right. So I mean, it's at a point where the safest thing you can do is, whether you believe in it or not, this is my belief, and we will try not to make an argument of this, but I have my 3 shots, right? If people catch it and they start getting their immunities combined with people who get the shot and everything like that, that's how you reach herd immunity. You know, so I mean, that being said, and with how these new strains are getting more viral but less lethal,
Right.
you know, it's going to start becoming a cold, and it's just going to be a common thing. You can just, you know, things are going to start getting back to normal within the next year. I won't say like in the next couple of months, but like, you know, and with that, you'll start seeing more people go back out to the theaters because they'll be less scared of what's happening. You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Right.
You know,
Right.
young Phil hit on something. He said, like the immersion of it all. Like, and I totally agree about being immersed in the theater, you know, with the people next to you, you know, big screen. But it's almost what you are keeping out, you know, like when I'm in a movie theater, I'm not checking my phone.
Right.
You know, I'm not, you know, looking at my dog and he's like looking his whatever, you know, or scratching on the door.
You can say
or-
balls on here.
You know, I want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi licking his own balls.
Right, my kids running around being crazy. You know, it's
His
about
dog's
what's
name is
not in front of you
Right.
is what matters and helps you concentrate, especially this day and age where like our attention spans are so short.
Yeah.
To focus our attention for 2 hours, you know, sometimes 3.
Right.
You know, it's amazing to have that type of experience.
Hey, I want to welcome Phoenix into. It looks like we got the rest of Distance Nerdy. We got the trifecta in the house. And I want to say to Steve, I'm with Steve. Like I'm all about going to the dollar store and like loading up with the Milk Duds first and getting the dollar. I will crack a soda can in the movie theater. I don't give a damn.
Yeah. I'm like the grandfather from Boondocks. I've got a coat with like 18 pockets, and they're all full of stuff.
My cousin
like
used
a
to pop
junkie.
popcorn and put it in her purse.
See, everybody's got their technique.
The only reason why I still own cargo shorts is just to go to the movie theater and pack them full of treats.
In college, I did the fake out pregnancy thing where we had this great big bowl and it had a top to it, and I put it under my sweatshirt and I pretend that I was like 9 months pregnant.
I need to do that next time.
Dude, you could bring like a whole Halloween
I don't think I need a
bowl
bowl
full of candy.
How far along are you, Snickers?
I'm gonna have to get 2 medium-sized bowls and put them
No,
on my ass.
See,
Twins are gonna
you
be
gotta
called
have a party keg or something there. That way, you have something to drink when you're watching. You know, Doctor Strange be boring for the first half of the freaking movie.
Oh, dude, you were about to say
Oh,
blasphemy there.
no.
You were talking to the wrong crowd, my friend.
Stop.
You're about to get your ass kicked over line.
I was working 70 hours a week, and I fell asleep for the first half of that movie.
Hey,
We need
you
to boot
didn't
him.
say bad things about come on his back, okay?
I'm a cumber bitch. Like, come at me.
Wow.
No, hey, we need to boot him now.
Oh,
You're
no,
fired.
You've been dismissed. Oh my god.
We didn't even start a
That can
vote.
actually happen.
It happened so fast.
Oh, well,
He
you know,
can
if
go
we're going to start,
to
you
the
know, talking about how the Cumberbatch is, I'm Tom Holland all the way. I'll suck my
Walk
own
the plank.
word. That's one less for the Kutcher tribe.
Boba Fett. Oh no! I just dropped my water.
See, told you.
See, if you did that in a movie theater, they clean it for you.
That's
all
true.
over my phone, all over my leg, and I'm naked, so I can't get up.
Do it.
Here, I'll drop you out. There you go.
No, boo.
Now, see, if you'd done that around Tom Holland, he would have caught you.
And the best thing is, my wife walks into the room and throws a rag at me.
What he meant to say?
Finish yourself
Oh,
off.
you too?
Damn.
Wipe yourself off.
What he meant to say is that he actually peed himself.
Right.
Out of excitement. Out of excitement.
Steve knows what I'm talking
I
about.
believe you.
It happens
Steve knows what I'm talking about.
when you pee yourself or when you
We need you
pee
guys
in-
on more often. I'm having the time of my life right now.
Oh, you got pants on, you big liar.
Oh, do we get to start singing
All right.
freaking Green Day now?
Order. Let's get back to the
Order
topic
in the
at hand.
court.
I don't need to hear about what's going on in that little cell over there.
Oh my.
Oh, we're in prison now.
It's funny. It's like on our show, he's like, yeah, I'll just show my pants anytime. He's like, no, this I have to be proper. It's like, really, Phil? Really?
He would not let me go and put on my whole
on our show, it's different because I was gonna say on our show, sometimes I do have to get up to like continue doing something. I gotta make sure I'm not like, you don't have that, you don't see that little thimble just walking around, you know what I mean? It's like, it's terrible.
Yeah, and at Kyber Cave, we have a higher fucking class of audience here.
Exactly. I love this on our show. Okay.
I don't know how high class they are.
Cucumber batch.
I love.
We're getting
I love how you
canceled.
said
I know this.
you have a higher tier show here, but we just had a guy say, "Don't make." You said, "Well, now you're on the rag."
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, so high.
What's
high.
up, Mike? Thank you.
Hi, Ike.
Looks like I came in at the right time.
Oh my god.
What am I hearing right now? Just disgusting things. If you guys want to find out more, follow our OnlyFans.
David, what is it?
I'm not even on it. It's pictures of bird feet specifically.
Yeah.
Onlyfans.com/Kyber Cave.
Have pictures of Ezra like this.
So where do we leave off on movies?
Yeah, let's get back on topic.
Talking about
Okay. Next
seagulls.
Phoenix, what do you think? Oop, that is me. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
No, the question is are movie theaters obsolete? Jared Leto had a comment that he had said in a Morbius interview that the only reason to go to a movie theater nowadays is for a Marvel movie. Do you agree with him?
That is completely true. I think the last few movies that I've gone to see are Marvel movies, and it'll probably be the next few movies I'll go see are Marvel movies. So, I mean, that's almost completely true. I stream things, and then I just wait for the DVD these days.
Right. That's true. And how about like, does that that's another thing is with these streaming services, do they go hand in hand with the movie theaters? Are they competitive with the movie theaters? There are certain things like WandaVision. I can't imagine trying to condense that down into a 2 or 3 hour movie. I think something like that is better left for a streaming service. Are there differences between what we should see at the movie? And another question I had that you guys, we discuss when you come around is, are big budget movies pricing out other movies? Meaning, because, some people are thinking, the only reason to go to the movies is to see a big budget blockbuster movie, right? But does that mean that a movie like Clerks can't get made nowadays with a low budget and still make it on the big screen? What do you guys think?
Independent films are still happening. I mean, just that's the thing is that to say that independent films are obsolete and done is a complete contradiction, because they're the only ones that are really surviving out in theaters right now. I mean, the big budget stuff, I mean, they're making the most money if it's out there, but again, you're like, low budget stuff is still, it hasn't disappeared. It still has its niche, everything like that. Again, going back to the point that I made earlier, Netflix literally puts their movies in theaters after they've already had them on Netflix.
Right.
There's been multiple films that they've done that because, again, you get that experience.
Right.
Like I mentioned before, it's not about the film itself. It's about the experience. It's about getting that immersion in the audio, getting that immersion in the video and everything like that. Not everybody has a 8K 80-inch screen sitting in their house. I don't.
Or a big ass open auditorium.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Not everybody has 10 grand to put a freaking personal theater in their home, So I mean, like, for the most part, the majority of people are going to the theater to get that experience. I mean, guarantee you they're going to put Adam Project out there. As good as that movie was, they're going to put that in the theater. It's going to happen.
Right. David brings up
part
an
of that.
interest.
I was going to say part of that Netflix putting movies into theaters is so they can be up for awards.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to be in theaters for a certain amount of time to get an award for it.
Yeah, exactly. But to piggyback kind of off what you're saying, the question is kind of loaded because, we're not Sith. We don't deal in absolutes here. You know what I mean? It's not like if this or that, there's room for everybody. especially movie theaters. I relate it to music. Like, just because radio is playing, pop music, doesn't mean there's no room for, hip hop, or punk rock or whatever else, heavy metal. The audience will be there for it, and the audience just may have a tougher time finding it, but it'll still be there.
But as a consumer, and this is for everybody, as a consumer, are you going to go spend the same money that you would for, say, a big budget? Okay, and I don't know, maybe this is my personal bias, but a big budget action movie, right? You want to see all the things. You need that big screen. You need that big sound to really take it all in, right? But if I'm watching, say, I don't know, a love story or a psychological thriller that may be slower, do I need all of that? And then, therefore, are those movies still going to get made if only a certain type of movie seems to draw people into the theater?
Fuck yeah, for a psychological thriller, hell yeah, I want to watch that.
Halloween.
Yeah.
But I pay the
horror
I
movies
would pay the
need to be
premium.
seen on big screen a lot of the time.
Personally, I like the experience also, not just for being the person that's there, but also like there have been like some times where it varies, like Russian roulette, but when you're there, you might have an experience where everyone's loud, you got a crying baby in the back, things like that. But then there's also a lot of times where you, like, for example, when Star Wars came out, where you're like in a room of people who have literally like the same interests in it, and everyone's just been like dying and wanting to see it, and you just get to like have that experience with everyone in the room with you, like regardless of some bad experiences in movie theaters. But when big movies like that come out, you get to be in a room full of strangers and all feel the same thing, all synergizing, and it's just like it's an amazing feeling.
They have those really cool they had those really cool reaction shots when Endgame came on, and they showed like people's reactions like all across the country when Captain America got the hammer or whatever, and the audience would just explode and go it would just explode and go nuts.
During the pandemic, thing that I did with my friends a lot was we did it's called the Share Watch or whatever. Different streaming services have done that lately, and you get on Discord and you just share what you're watching, right?
That's right.
Or on or on different streaming services.
Voodoo, Twitch.
Twitch, you can you can share your stuff. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal anymore to be together. I live really far away from most of my close friends, so it's like a lot of them are in New York now, LA. So we tend to do a lot of just getting on and watching together. In fact, my husband tonight was like, "Have you watched Uhtred yet?" Because we watch Last Kingdom a lot. We watch Picard over a distance because we both work like crazy. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal anymore with the you can watch it together. Like streaming services have that. I mean, is the movie theater fun? Yes. I would probably do like IMAX or something if I was going to do it now. Instead of just go to a normal movie theater that I can, wait for the DVD in like 2 months.
I've actually never had a good experience with watching movies together with people on the internet. There's always that one person that's like delayed or blurring out, and then the other one that's just like maybe a million years ahead of you, and I'm like, wait, I just got here. Like,
we haven't done it in a while, but you gotta. So we used to do like Netflix shared streams when we watch movies on Netflix. And there's like the Netflix party app has a chat on the side. So it was basically like watching a riff tracks or something like that, because it's just us talking smack about the movie the entire time. We did Ghost Rider. And like, it's a lot of it is just like, really bad, just jokes about Tremors and just making jokes the entire time. Like that is a good experience. Movie like that. You know what I mean?
Right. David said, like when Andrew Garfield walked through the portal for the first time during No Way Home audience, there was audience hysteria. Yeah, I agree. I feel like, there are certain movies, and that's why I guess maybe for the Marvel and the big blockbuster movies, I want to see those in the theater. But I worry that, because I'm only spending money on those types of movies, other movies that I like may not get, make it to theater. What about your guys' thought about, there are several movies where they did it where, in fact, they've got some out right now. Kingsman is a good example of one, but it was in the movie theater, and then 45 days later, it would come to the streaming service. Does that make you not want to go to the theater if you know that it's going to come out to a streaming service that you own?
No, I'll go watch it.
I'll watch it.
Dune. Yeah. Dune came out the same day. I went to the theaters to watch Dune because that movie 100% was an experience you needed to experience on the big screen.
Exactly. And I don't know about anybody else's experience, but me personally, there are times when sometimes I just really want to get out of the house. Maybe not just, to go out to experience it, but, maybe you just feel heated at home. Maybe you got into an argument with your parents or a significant other and you just want to go out and just, go watch a movie and, kill off steam and things like that.
Yeah, Jackie.
I've had to do that before.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but I mean, if you guys listen to the show or not, but I'm like a hardcore movie critic. I mean, there's not a lot of movies I like.
Right.
But The Kingsman, I mean, yeah, I knew it was going to come to streaming services, and I do like to stay home. I have PTSD from the Marine Corps, so I tend not like to go out really. But I did go see that one in theaters. I didn't want to wait because it just looked that good. So, it just depends on the movie, really.
Right. It does, because Fast and the Furious was the movie that I kind of like binged on for the older ones, at least.
Right.
Hey, when are you guys having these excellent experiences with the theater too? Because going back to the everybody cheered. I tend to go with people who hate crowds. So 10 o'clock at night, and we're like the only people in the theater. So like everybody cheered. That never happens for me.
Have you met me? I am the crowd.
Yeah. That was the one cheering.
We'll buy out some more theaters, and then we'll make it a shared experience for you.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Oh yeah.
When we went and saw No Way Home, when Andrew Garfield walked through the portal, man, it was people screaming, women going freaking nuts. I mean, it was crazy as hell.
Right. Dave says pretty soon you'll be spending $50 in gas just to get to the theater. Hey, really quickly, Josh, I want to go back to you, and then Jim, let's get some thoughts from you because we haven't heard too much from you. But something I never even thought about or considered was people who may have PTSD going to a movie theater and experiencing these loud noises or maybe bright lights or something like that. I've never considered that maybe someone like that might appreciate being home at more than at the theater.
I mean, I can go to a theater. I don't like it. PTSD does affect that a lot, as well as anxiety. It's something that most military members go through. But, as long as I know when I'm going to the theater, I can prepare myself, kind of talk myself through it beforehand. I'll tend to take some medication to help me. And then, most military guys and gals, will go to the movie theater, PTSD or not.
Yeah, because on base, like we have the theater. There's always a theater on base.
Yeah, and it's free.
It's free for it's free to go.
You guys?
Yeah.
I go see movies on base all the time.
I went to the movies all the time.
I had to pay for it on Benning and on Bragg. What the hell?
Okay, so maybe I should put that into the story in perspective. That the reason why I was going to the theater a lot was because, of course, the military thing. I could go for free.
Wow, shit! I think I'd be going a lot more if I could go for free too. Shit, I'd be living at the theater.
No, the military. Now, if you go on the Marine Corps base theater, normally they suck.
Oh yeah. No, it's not just them.
Yeah, it's not the best quality, but it's a free movie. I got to see a whole bunch of new releases. So.
Yeah, Fort Benning had a legit theater on post, and it was not too far. It was like less than a mile from the airborne barracks. So I mean, like we could just walk up there. But I mean, I had to pay for it still.
So we had watch they were messing with you the whole time.
Heck of Jim.
Like, hey, yeah, you guys are airborne. Fuck you.
I have a round robin.
Assholes.
I have a round robin question for everybody.
Yeah.
It sounds like everybody's still kind of on board with theaters, if not fully on board with theaters. But what is one thing you would change about the theater experience?
Prices.
That okay, well, I guess we're gonna start with Phil.
No.
You're the one jumping, throwing it out there. Let's go.
Without even thinking about it, it's like prices. Shit is
Right.
expensive. I don't want to pay for that shit.
Is it the ticket price or the concession price or all of it?
Everything.
Yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
willing to pay for it now, so supply and demand. I guess it's worth it. Yes,
Sorry, I'm just like staring at myself now.
I
'cause-
know. We know. We all know that you're staring at yourself.
If anyone should be doing that, it should be Josh. He was the Marine.
Exactly.
Oh,
Run, Josh, up.
You don't want me staring at myself because then I take off my shirt, I start doing weird things with my hand, and it just
Wow.
Uh-oh.
exactly, yeah. I'm just hopping around in the chair. That's all I'm doing. I
And
promise.
he just
Grabbing-
ends it with
grabbing tissues.
Semper Fi.
Oh god, I almost fell out of my chair.
All right.
All right. So
Back to
So have you
That's
guys
that
met
question.
Marines?
And
I'm
you
just
know-
throwing that out there.
I don't know how much I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but movie theaters have a different pricing scale, right? So when a brand new movie comes to the theater, that movie theater basically has to rent that movie. That's what they're doing. They're renting the movie from the distributor.
Right.
Well, the first week a movie comes out, like 90% of their ticket prices go back to the distributor. And for each week that the movie's out, the movie theater gets a bigger percentage. So if the movie's been out for 4 weeks, a movie theater might get 50% of the door tickets, or I don't know what the exact number is, but a lot of the money that they're making at the door, they don't even see that money. It goes back to the movie or the distributor, which is why your candy prices are so outrageous.
Reaching out
Got
to
it.
Etsy in a minute.
it's also the
We
time
paid
of
for
day.
$4.59. We paid $495.72 for the full costume.
Right.
Style set. We didn't even get it.
Right.
What?
Huh?
Wait.
Sorry,
Are we-
Yeah,
wait, is
I'm
that
having a
Egypt?
conversation. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We're having a costuming.
I don't know what's happening right now.
I was like, you had a costume at
I'm
the
like,
movie theater?
I was like, yeah, I'm trying to figure
Where's
out.
this car going?
Sorry, guys. We bought a costume.
Like we missed the turn.
They only sent like half the costume, and we paid almost $500 for it. So
Oh Jesus.
we're not really in a great mood about that right now.
I can imagine.
So what I would change about movie theaters,
What do you got, Sleepy?
I don't know.
if I could.
When I was in Portland, they had some very different types of movie theaters where they would bring you your drink and your food and your popcorn and how can I help you? Can I bring you more? And it's just kind of I haven't really found much of that here.
That's right. You were late to the conversation. We were talking about those. There's one.
Okay.
There's one here in actually there's a few different theaters here, but in Sacramento area, there's one called Studio Movie Grill,
Okay.
where
I was
you
saying
pretty
there's
much have a
one.
waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Ooh.
food, alcohol, appetizers, popcorn, different types of popcorn.
I got listed last time I went there.
Well, good for you. Thanks for the invite.
Right. So, what are some of the things that other people would change?
Well,
I think we can pretty much all agree on prices, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I-
price is one, but I mean,
I'd probably change the whole like if you have a kid, you shouldn't be going to see.
yeah.
Like if you have like a 2-year-old baby, what are they going to see in the movie for? They're not going to remember it in 5 minutes.
The kid is not watching the movie. It's because they can't get a babysitter.
I went to go
Right.
see it.
True.
once.
Actually, you know why they highlighted James is because he has 3 kids.
I'm not bringing them to a theater though.
But
I've got
my
3
whole-
kids.
Architectural redesign. That's what we should do. They should put soundproof boxes in there.
specifically
get-
for the babies.
Automatically, they have to sit in the back.
You guys are not thinking that the baby's crying for a reason. If the baby cries, then they probably need some type of attention, like a diaper change or food.
Not
Okay,
our problem.
when Frozen 2 came out, I went to go see it with my little brother and my mother.
Uh-huh.
There was a kid in there
course you
who
did.
was crying for 45 minutes straight. It was not even like a 6-month-old baby.
That's your fault for going to a Frozen 2 movie.
Exactly.
I wasn't the one that wanted to see it. My brother did.
Nice.
Another reason why I
Sure,
didn't
as
get
a baby boot, man. Just remember Boots, their mentality, bro.
But no, but like we paid like $45 for that,
Yeah.
and not even counting like snacks or anything like that. So, were you the kid crying for 45 minutes? You, David.
Ezra,
You paid $45 to see Frozen 2?
There was
Yeah,
2
he did.
adult tickets and 1 teen.
Ezra, just let it go.
So I know that we're talking about theaters, but are we also going to include the drive-ins that everyone in their god and mother had forgotten about?
I
There's
love
still drive-ins out of
drive-ins.
Yonkers.
We need
Drive-ins are the
drive-ins to be a
shit.
thing again.
We need that back, honestly.
There's
Do
just
you guys
one
not have
in
drive-ins?
Sacramento and
Out
there's
on the
one
East-
over in Concord.
Wait, on the East Coast, do you guys not have drive-ins much anymore?
No, I mean, if I see one, it's abandoned and creepy.
Green, Josh,
Guys
do you have
don't
one
wanna
out in
hang out at.
Reno? Do you have a drive-in theater out there?
Yeah, we actually have a couple out here.
Yeah, and they're still like alive and going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
Lucky.
love a drive-in theater, dude. You can bring your own food and pizza and just like pull your car up. Like I would line the back of my car with like pillows and blankets and stuff, and just that'd be like turn my car into my own personal couch there.
Yeah, exactly. Summer nights, double feature. Like the second one starts at midnight. You're sitting there with your Little Caesars pizza. It's great.
Right. What's
I
up,
love it.
Wolfenstein from Sacramento? One of our favorite furries. I will tell you, if it weren't for drive-in movies, Kyber Cave would never have been born, because it was between the two movies that Zayo's older brother had brought lightsabers and showed us lightsabers for the first time. So between the movies, we would pull out the lightsabers and just beat each other up. And so if it wasn't for drive-ins, my business would never have started.
We need to stop talking about lightsabers because I really want one and I don't have one.
Go to our website.
I know some people.
I know some people. Go to our website. Keep me employed.
I am poor.
So
Our
waiting.
cheapest one is $77.
Did he not just say he's poor?
Kids.
Gas prices have made me poor now. Poorer.
It would cost you more to drive from Reno to Fairfield and get that saber than it would to just buy it online and have it shipped to you.
I get paid to drive to work. That's it.
You get paid.
You get paid to drive to work.
I mean, I have a company vehicle and a gas card, so I'm not going to complain about anything.
I get paid to
Christ.
commute. I get paid to commute.
I'm just disabled, so
Right. Goldie says, "Oh yeah, don't forget, Josh. Every Sunday we give away a free lightsaber every
You give
Sunday
away a
night
free
at 7
lightsaber every
p.m.
Sunday night.
Nice
You know what
segue,
I'm
Colby.
doing.
Shameless
Tune
plug.
In fact, Veronica
Not
was the
shameless
winner.
plug, it's our show.
Did you win last week or 2 weeks ago?
I won during the
Speaks
con.
of failure in your part.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I love how
Won
you say
radio
say my
saber.
real name. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Steve
Uh,
Jordan. But I love playing with my cup.
Whoa.
Cockle doodle doo.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
So they have have you guys ever experienced, I've seen but I've never actually been, they have like, I don't know if I'd actually want to go, I'd be a little scared, but they have the movie theaters that have like a bed in there.
Yes.
Have you guys
Whoa.
ever
I wanna go to one of
been to
those
one of
so
those?
bad.
It's kind of iffy for me because I get worried about what may be there.
Right, I'd be worried about
What?
what bodily
You're afraid of
fluid
being
may
there
be
is
on that.
thoughts.
How many
Things
people have
already
slept in that
happen on
bed?
the seats. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sticky.
I've been to one
I
in
mean,
Japan, and
that could be there anyway, though, right? Like,
Okay, I would
we're
trust
all
Japan.
teenagers.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say,
wouldn't.
Japanese people are cleanly people. I would.
We
I
are
would
not
do it
clean
there.
people here.
Hold on here, no, because the one
In a
I went to
theater?
in Japan, they gave you a You got company.
Company.
Oh,
like bed bugs. Oh, that kind of. Okay.
Oh.
They do have a lot of interesting things there.
I'm googling
But
prices.
I will say their
Fine.
love hotels are very interesting.
The love hotels.
They have karaoke in there.
Yeah, the love hotels are called Soapy Land.
But anyways, they got karaoke in it, and that's all that matters. And a jacuzzi bathtub.
That's what she went for, was the karaoke.
Exactly.
Definitely karaoke.
That's what I went for too.
Yes.
Wow.
Holes in the wall. Those sound.
Go
Wait
for
a
the
minute.
karaoke,
That's-
stay for the hookers.
Hang on, guys, that's my husband too, asking about theaters with holes in the walls. Come on.
Okay. Now everything makes sense.
No.
That is definitely a Gino comment. Okay.
Ah,
good job, Gino.
I'm sorry that I threw this all into the gutter.
My husband helped you. No, it's more like a therapist couch. They're not beds. They're like therapist couches, and they have like this great big back on them and a great big like almost like it makes you put your feet out, so you have to actually scooch to get off.
But do they come with grapes?
Do they give you fresh sheets
come with
between the like
I
the
wish.
showings?
Do they come with hookers like they do in Japan?
I mean,
I'm sure.
Hey,
anything's
it's geisha.
possible.
Okay, get it. It's geisha.
Geisha.
Geishas are not hookers. They're ladies who work.
Bye, Steve. Stay safe on your fire.
Okay. All right. So are we have we kind of killed this topic? Should we move
Yeah,
on?
I'm pretty sure we need to move on to the next one.
All right. So you
I
guys
love talking about holes in the walls.
Oh God.
Glory hole.
You guys invited a Marine. I'm sorry.
Celestial
and an
alchemy.
Army Ranger.
Okay. The
And a
real
Army-
question is if I put the peanut in the wall, can you see it?
Probably not.
Maybe not.
Sometimes.
Probably
Josh,
not.
there's an Army Ranger right underneath you.
You can't make this.
That's why I was saying we're just as dumb as you guys are, so it's great.
I love you. I care about you.
There's a lot of hole in the wall theaters in San Francisco, right? Except for you
Oh,
don't
I
know what
believe
may
it.
be coming in and out of that hole in the wall in San Francisco. It's like an almond joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't.
I've been in the worst parts of San Francisco. I don't even want to.
I'm from San Francisco, so
That explains a
Ooh.
lot.
what does that say about me?
I was created in San
Probably on
Francisco.
the nice side. I haven't been there.
You all haven't been to an
Ocean View.
from.
Hey, Saber Paul, what's up, buddy?
Saber Paw and William there. I like it when people are like talking in the chats. I see them talking in the chats there. I think Saber Paw is the one that's working on like a logo design for our Saber Rattle
That's
show.
secret.
Oh, is that sorry?
No.
Nothing. Nothing. I didn't say anything.
not a secret,
NDAs.
Damn it! Damn it! All right, so
You
the
can't tell
next
the
topic,
boss anything.
the next topic that we wanted to talk about tonight was I don't know how many of you people all on here are watching all these kids on these TikToks nowadays on them interwebs, but they're having like oh my god, we had this discussion a few weeks ago. The one that drives me the craziest the most are the people with the fake medical disorders or the people that impersonate having different what do you call it? DID
Dissociative.
Identity
Yeah.
dissociative disorder.
Right. And like some of them is just so obviously fake. You have a lot of videos, and it's not even the kids, dude. I mean, it's people like my age that are dressing up like dogs and stuff and just doing like throwing food all over themselves. Food waste seems to be a huge thing on TikTok. I don't know what the hell it is. But my question is, what does this all mean going in the future? 10 years from now, 15 years from now, particularly with the younger people, is it going to stop them from being able to get jobs or, our family members, if they're going to get married, maybe a potential mother-in-law might look up, videos that you had. When I was growing up, we didn't have the internet and things that, we didn't have evidence, basically. We had Polaroid was our evidence. But now everything is on the internet and it's there forever. What do you guys think about that?
Well, it could go in a million different directions, honestly. So we know how TikTok kind of started, right? Started with musically from what I remembered, Vines going from there, and then it just ended up, enhancing itself by rebranding itself. And many times it's been threatened to be, banned or canceled, things like that. So I mean, it really all depends on how our next generation handles the application itself. Now I don't think that it will last until then. I do think that it's probably going to go through a rebrand cycle,
like Vine did.
Basically, yeah, and they're going to try and either enhance it for the worst or enhance it for the better, because from my experience with TikTok versus Vine when it first started there wasn't a lot of, explicit things. Basically, when TikTok came out, you had the high risk of literally watching someone randomly get beheaded. Like, just the filtering of it is just very, there's just a lot of craziness that goes on with it. So I mean, it really depends on what the developers really, try to push for in the future, or if someone else takes over and monopolizes it.
But do you think these kids, especially these ones that are doing, and I say kids, but that's only because I'm an old man. Anybody under the age of 75 is a kid to me. But even these older people, do you think they're going to look back and these people that are faking these disorders and stuff like that? And we know, I feel like the reason why you have so many people doing so many stupid no content videos is because so many people feel like this is their way. I can become rich and famous just for doing a stupid dance or making a stupid face.
Or
they don't have to
falsifying their life.
Right. They don't have to put any real work into their content, like the work we obviously put in at Kyber Cave After Dark.
Yeah, I know. All that work. You can't BS me. I've worked for you.
I think that it could cause two different things. For the ones that use it for very pointless and useless, reasons, could really end up causing, an increase of, split personality disorder.
All right. So shall we see a video just to see what the topic is?
No. Yes, throw that on. I'm so sorry.
No.
You will enjoy the cringe.
For those who don't want to hear it, take off your headphones for about the next 2 minutes, 35 seconds.
While we're doing this video,
Let's
I'm
roll.
gonna put on my dog Gimp mask.
Yeah. Who wants to hear the most important?
Just went to Subway, got a 6-inch. You know, it's 6 inches. Not his dick.
You know I'm fucking insecure! Why the fuck do you tell everyone? They don't need to fucking know! Fuck, you always piss me off always on my fucking day off! You fucking self!
Hi, I'm just gonna assume you don't know any better, but I'm gonna educate you. Asking pronouns in 2022 now, it's kind of like saying the N-word.
Here's 3 reasons why I wouldn't be a good waifu. Number 1, I'm shy.
Number 2, nobody cares!
Oh, I got to go. Oh, I gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Ga.
If you can move your eyes smoothly across your waterline, you're okay. Take me out to the back of the shed.
Day, someone on here made a list of things that men should not be allowed to do, and here's my list of things that should be reserved for women and children only. Number 1, candy. Because as a grown man, why are you eating candy? Are you a baby? Go eat spinach or beets or something. Number 2, cartoons. Are you kidding me? Why are you, as a grown man, watching cartoons? Go watch the stock market. Number 3, roller skating. Can you imagine a grown man roller skating? Do you think you're a princess or something? Number 4, napping, but this is specifically napping. He's allowed to sleep at night, but only after 10 p.m. But if a man wants to take a midday nap, that nigga is a bad bitch. Number 5, sweaters. If you're a grown man and you're wearing sweaters, I'm also going to assume you're being breastfed because clearly you're a baby. You can't handle a little cold? Are you chilly? Number 6, swimming. The only exception to this is if he is a professional athlete swimmer like Michael Phelps or some shit. But imagine you're at the pool and there's a grown man in a floaty with his toes out. Tell me that wouldn't make you mad.
No, that last
Wow.
one. No, I am 100% offended.
So
by
we're
it.
attacking people now.
She's talking about my candy. She's talking about my sweaters. Nope.
She was literally describing Phil.
She's
Okay.
Seriously.
Really quickly before people come commenting on here, coming after me, blame Van. He's the one that told me to find a video. Blame him.
What the heck? Video was definitely me. That was me yelling at her.
I love the begging. Please stop making me edit these.
I just wanted you to know. I wanted us to have a good frame of reference for. Oh,
Hey, get out of here. My TikToks are amazing. Okay.
I'm just waiting for you to have a roller skating
If
TikTok.
I did TikTok,
If I knew how to roller skate, it would happen. I don't know how to roller skate, but I mean, come on, man. My TikToks are Mickey Mouse singing 80s songs. Is there anything better than that?
Yeah, see, on roller skates.
On roller skates.
Or Deadpool crying.
Mickey Mouse answering trivia questions.
Deadpool crying because Betty White died. Which
That
that
was a
one
crazy
kind of
video. We now have to breastfeed everyone. I'm for that.
Oh God.
Or
Yeah,
Deadpool
hell
crying
yeah.
because Visual Boo said kitty when he was in a kitty costume.
Oh, I haven't put that one on TikTok yet, but that was actually a good video. The story about that. So me and James had a plan, right? We knew that we were gonna walk up to Mary and say, "Hey, we have this concept. You know,
Wait, really quickly. Tell everybody who Mary is. Not everybody on here knows who you're talking about.
right." So Mary Gibbs is the actress that played Boo in Monsters Inc.
Of course, she was like
And-
2 or 3 years old, so she doesn't remember most of it. But
But she remembers recording everything like to a point, because they used her in multiple movies. So she primarily was Monsters Inc., but then they also used her in other, like some of her takes
Inside Out,
Inside Out, and stuff like that. So she, basically, I dressed up as Deadpool as Sully. Right? And we had this idea where we were gonna approach Mary and say, "Hey," like James was gonna approach her and say, "Hey, we want to record this video of Deadpool walking up and just kind of freaking out, and we just want you to say kitty." He's gonna start crying, right? Well, without talking to her, we end up walking up, and I'm already going like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And if you listen closely, you can hear her go, "Kitty!" And I just dropped on the ground and started crying. And it was like it happened organically. Like we didn't plan to do. We planned on doing that, but we didn't actually give her the plan, and she did it organically. So it was like it made it that much better.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm totally forget where
TikTok.
we were before
What's happening with TikTok in the future?
Oh yes, thank you.
You know,
thank
let
you.
me jump in real quick because I am definitely not the TikTok generation. So this is definitely not my wheelhouse, but I'm kind of open to it. I mean, and social media comes and goes. Like what happened to Periscope, or what was the one that was really hot like earlier this year?
MySpace.
MySpace, yes, MySpace.
Yeah, it was MySpace.
Yeah, that was earlier this year.
I forgot the name of that. I can't remember the name of that one now.
I was gonna say Cam Girls, but hey.
But it's probably going to equate to something like how people used to see tattoos back in like the 50s and 60s.
Right.
People are like, "Oh my god, you have a tattoo? That's crazy." Nowadays, it's almost weird if you don't have a tattoo.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's probably just going to flip, and things are going to get normalized in a weird way that we're not used to right now.
Right.
Men upon Mars.
Do you think? I mean, doing things like having fake disorders or acting really really cringy, is that going to I mean, that's not the same as a tattoo. A tattoo is something that people have always had over time, right? It's just become more socially acceptable. But these videos, for instance, not everybody makes the same video. Some people make informative videos, and maybe they'll become rich and famous and become TikTok stars or something like that. But some people just make some crazy. I mean, you just saw some of the crazy ass videos people are making that have no context. They have no real content. It's just them trying to put their face out there in the hopes that somehow they're going to become viral and become rich and famous. But we all know that the majority of these people, that will never happen, right? Most of these people, it's just going to be a fun little hobby. But they are going to have to live with those consequences for what they did with that hobby 10 or 15 years from now, right? That's why Saber Rattle is a family-friendly show. So people try to go back, 10, 15 years from now and try to talk shit. I can say, hey, man, we were family content.
Yeah, no, sure we were.
I mean,
absolutely.
Social media in general can cause social problems. I mean, the whole thing is like, of course, everybody right now is dealing with the whole, I have to watch what I say, or I get canceled, and some people deserve it. But I mean, like, that kind of stuff happens. I can tell you again. I got in trouble when I was in the Army because it's something I said on Facebook, right? Because we were getting monitored, right? You were mentioning about like what happens in 10 years when something doesn't age right and things like that. I mean, I've seen plenty of things that I've posted, when the memories come up, and I'm like, yeah, no, my opinion on that has definitely changed, right? And things like that. But like, I got in trouble because I didn't say his name, but I was talking shit about my captain because I was kind of
not like backing out of the studio.
Okay. No, I was upset, and I mentioned something about my captain, and it came back because somebody was monitoring the social media, and I got Article 15, and that was great. Article 15, for those who don't know, is just basically like a reprimand. So I mean, but you can get loss of pay. You can get, if it's big enough, you can get loss of rank too. So I mean, like, and this was just because I was pissed at my captain for something that he said, and I mentioned something about it, not directly, but he knew it was about him. I got in trouble for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's you do kind of have to watch what you say, like, publicly, especially if you know what you're saying is controversial, right? Like to think that what a lot of people think, that people don't understand the concept of freedom of speech, because a lot of people think that means I can say what I want.
Right.
And to an extent, yes, you can say what you want, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have consequence.
Right.
You know? You can say what you want, but the that particular amendment is really just saying that you can't be prosecuted for what you say, right? That's why racists can be racist and not go to jail for it. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, people are, and again, I have my personal opinions on this, but like, people get pissed about Gina Carano and the whole thing that happened with her.
Right.
She got fired by a company because she said something that was against what the company stood for. Right. So where people say like, oh, well, they're stifling her freedom of speech. No, they're not. She didn't go to jail. She just got fired.
Right.
You know what I mean? She got fired. It's the same thing where if you work at McDonald's and you go tell somebody to go eat a dick, you're going to get fired.
Right.
But in my freedom of speech, I can tell you
a Big Mac.
It doesn't work that way.
Right. Well, it's called a McDick.
Go eat a McDick.
But even that, and I don't know if this is a whole separate thing, but even that, like, some people would argue is Disney does a lot of virtual signaling. They were at the same time that they talk about, Gina Carano's comments about, the Holocaust and things like that. They were having issues with, China and not putting John Boyega big on the poster because, Black people aren't as accepted in China.
Yeah.
So they, Disney's a tough one because a lot of times they do shit that they say is one way, but it really comes down to the profits.
The other thing in that particular case where that wasn't the first time they talked to her about that. It was this is a multiple strike thing. They had, even to a point where, like the directors and everybody had to go and talk to her and say, dude, you got to tone it down. Right. And she still didn't do it. She still went out and made a Holocaust reference that was completely out of taste. And it was like, look, man, I mean, because some people bring up the fact that like other people have said things, but it's like, yeah, they got warnings just like she got. But the thing is she got multiple warnings, and it was just at a point where it's like, we can't keep telling you this.
Right.
Like we can't keep telling you that you need to tone it down. We're just going to let you go. you know,
Right.
and it's just kind of like what everybody sees is she got fired, but not what led up to her getting fired. Right? It wasn't just that one incident; it was multiple.
What was that? No, sorry, I thought I heard somebody else's voice.
Yeah, I heard someone too.
Right, and then you know, that brings up another question. I mean, do you guys think that that's okay? That a company or your employer could have that much control or should have that much control in your life? For example, I think about like let's go back. And I know I keep harping on these people with the fake mental disorders and stuff, but let's say that some 19-year-old kid wants to fake having DID, having multiple personalities, right? And they build a TikTok channel, and then that's just their phase, right? They're by the time they turn 20, they're done with it. But then when they turn 30, they want to get into a nursing degree now. Should that bar them from being able to be a nurse because of some things that they did when they were younger?
Yes, absolutely.
I think maybe that it should be if you're under 18, right? You cannot give consent for this sort of stuff, and that's why some social media accounts actually will bar some of the stuff from being able to interact with adult accounts, and then some of it goes on really private, right? I think it should be if you're under 18, that stuff shouldn't be held against you. But if you're like 18, 19, 20, and you're young and you're making comments, like there's some stuff I said when I was in my early 20s, I had no idea what I was talking about. But you know,
Your early 20s,
my early 20s. But yeah, no, I'm still 21.
Some stuff Van said 10 minutes ago.
And at this point, like I know I say some stuff that's dumb, and I always make jokes about like we're gonna get canceled. I'm getting canceled. That's just how it is because I say dumb shit. But I mean, like, the thing is also things you say in your early 20s, right? Like when you say ignorant shit in your early 20s, there's also a level of growth. Have you grown from that? You know what I mean? Like again, I've seen things, I've seen things that that I said back in my 20s that like now being the person that I am and being the things that I've learned from there is like, yeah, no, I was ignorant as hell. And I've learned a lot since that time. You know what I mean?
Who's the youngest person here?
Me.
Ezra, is it you?
Ezra, probably Ezra.
How old are you, Ezra?
It's Ezra.
I think you're muted.
I am not muted. I'm 18.
18?
Yep.
Okay, you're in the thick of it. Let's hear from you. Like you're growing up with social media. You know nothing but only having social media.
He's never had a time where social media didn't exist.
Exactly. How do you feel about all this and the cringiness of it all?
Honestly,
and the canceling.
I hate cancel culture. 100%. Like, go away with it. Like, what's the point of it? Like, it's not.
Because if you're a piece of shit, you need to be called out on it.
Yes,
that's what it is.
If you're a piece of shit, if like currently, yes, 100%, go cancel that person. But if you said something 10 to 15 years ago and now you're being canceled because of it, no.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely no.
Yeah, that I agree.
What about like say like what about Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, who they found pictures of him doing blackface. I mean, not even 10 years ago, 11 years ago. We knew 11 years ago that you can't do blackface.
Even in the early
is that growth, or should he be canceled?
That's kind of hard just to say because his views from 10 years ago could have changed. Like,
in 7 years, my views have changed.
Exactly. Like,
right, but didn't Disney go after James Gunn for stuff that he did on Twitter like how many years ago? Long before he was even
they're going
to Disney.
James Gunn for so much more than that.
But I mean that he realized and he apologized for and said like it sincerely was like I was dumb, and these were things that
I mean,
he shouldn't have said.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the stuff. We knew not to attack actors before, 2000 and everything. Look what happened to Andrew Lloyd. That kid was 9 years old, playing possibly one of the most iconic characters in film, and the whole internet destroyed his life.
Even Mark Hamill, I thought it was interesting. Mark Hamill did a tweet a couple of days ago where he even, and it's so sad that he would even have to say anything, but Like he put out a message, like he was like, "Congratulations!" I don't remember what the new little boy's name is that's playing the young Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan, but he says congratulations to him and blah blah. And then he said, and to everybody else, remember he is 9 years old.
The fact that he has to say that
You're 9 years old in a Star Wars project. Prepare for emotional damage.
Right.
Exactly like William says, like Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd was
Yeah.
hated fun.
But okay, if we're gonna talk about that, you need to talk about Ahmed Best.
I was also going to say, what about Rose Tico?
Rose Tico got really bad too. Like the stuff that they did for to Rose Tico was appalling because
world beyond what they did to
Ahmed Best. Ahmed Best, because people hated that character so much, and I get it. There are racist undertones on that character itself, but the way that they treated Ahmed Best, he was an actor,
Right.
you know, and he attempted suicide twice because of the toxic culture within Star Wars fandom.
Wow.
Wyatt Russell.
You know, that is completely uncalled for. The fact that people treated her name isn't Rose Tico, it's
Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran. The way that people treated Kelly Marie Tran, because you don't like her character, you're going to talk about, oh, you need to go kill yourself.
What about
That's
Wyatt
bullshit.
Russell? Like they did the same thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was U.S. agent in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, and again, that was complete ignorance because people didn't know who the character was. He played the character perfectly.
He played the character fantastically, especially if you read the comments. He played that to a T.
Well, like exactly what you said. If you read the comics and you know who U.S. Agent is, he played that character better than you could have ever written him in the comics for, right? But people were like, but he's not Captain America, so he needs to go kill himself. Like, what the? Are you serious?
Okay. Wyatt Russell even stated that he himself does not claim the title as Captain America. Sure, U.S. Agent does, but what he claims the title is U.S. Agent, the person who was supposed to take over the mantle and then didn't.
Right.
So it makes no sense. Like even he's apologizing for a role that he shouldn't have to apologize for
At all. And the thing is, again, those of us who were in the military, like Josh will agree with this. I'm sure he would. And I mean, he's sitting right there, like as if he's not in the room, right? But I mean, like, like the way they played it, right? The way that they played that character, where like, you know, he is somebody who wants to be a hero and has he has PTSD, and it's horrible. The mindset that he goes through, and his whole thing is, you know, it's the idea of being a good man versus doing good things, right? Like Captain America, Steve Rogers was inherently a good man, right? That character did good things, and he was a hero, but he wanted that to be that hero. He wanted to be Captain America, but he was somewhat of a sociopath. And again, from my background, Rangers sociopaths. We tend to be pretty fucked up. So I mean,
he was a freaking Boy Scout.
I wouldn't even say Captain America's a Boy Scout, but I mean, like, the thing is that's the kind of person that you need to have. I mean, the super soldier serum is basically steroids, right? A lot of people think steroids is you know, you roid rage and you go crazy because you take steroids and it makes you angry. No, in reality, the studies that are actually coming out on it, I never took it, and obviously I'm pretty small. I never did that, but I mean,
she said.
The studies that are coming out about steroids are more along the lines that it enhances your natural kind of like temperament. So if you're naturally a happy person, you tend to be overly happy, versus if you are an angry person or you have a little bit of anger in your background, then you tend to be more angry, you know, and that's where you get these guys. You know, the whole idea was that the super soldier serum does the same thing. It's basically enhancing your natural personality, where Steve Rogers was naturally a good man and everything that he did was with good intention. That's why U.S. Agent becomes the way that he becomes. He becomes very violent and very angry, and it's a lot of like, and you see it in the storyline where they kind of explain it in the storyline, like his background and the things he went through and how PTSD affects him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's why he becomes the way he does with that character, because the super soldier serum expands what his natural temperament already is.
Right.
So what you're saying, if I get you correctly, the steroids would be the super soldier serum is what steroids actually do. Hulk is what everyone thinks steroids do.
100%. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah. So, just so I'm understanding, the super soldier serum is basically steroids, but times 1,000.
Exactly.
So and it's funny because Bucky is on the complete opposite end of that, right? He becomes a sociopathic killer, right?
That's why he never wanted to take the super soldier serum, is because he knows
Yeah, but wasn't
his problems.
Bucky a sociopath in the entire series himself? Like in the MCU, wasn't Bucky kind of sociopathic tendencies?
I wouldn't say he's a sociopath. I would say he had a lot of programming that was messed up. And he didn't know how to deprogram, and a lot of it was
programming.
Again, that is a very it's a very common thing that we go through as soldiers as well. Is you look at what he goes through in Falcon and the Winter Soldier is basically he went from being this machine to not being able to normalize himself. Right? There are programs that the Army and I'm sure the Marine Corps have that are supposed to like as you're getting out, they're supposed to deprogram you and supposed to get you ready for the civilian world. But in real practice, like I can tell you, in my experience, they would skip me going to these classes because it was just like, well, there's work that needs to be done. So, we're not going to send you to these classes, to these civilian classes, to these classes that teach you how to write a resume and how to be in, the civilian world, because we don't have time for it. Like there's supposed to be deprogramming, but it doesn't happen because just kind of the way that it works within the military. The situation with Bucky was a lot of just he went through 100 years of essentially being a machine,
right?
Is being that kind of like just I don't want to say program machine, but I mean like just being a brainwashed assassin is really what he was.
Yeah, he says that in Winter Soldier. He says, I spent 100 years going from one war to the next. This is the first time I've had to like slow down.
Right. So the whole idea is that what they're really getting into in that show was kind of something that I liked about it was they're dealing with him coming to terms with what he did over 100 years and trying to become like a normal person, because that's what he wants ultimately, is to be a normal person.
Right.
But because of everything that he's seen and that he's done and his guilt and his hardcore PTSD that he has, that's where he starts becoming what he becomes.
Right.
But he's trying to fix himself. There's an effort. Right. We're in a lot of cases there aren't effort. There's not always effort in people wanting to change. Some people are used to what they are and they come to terms with that.
Right. Right. Hey, Josh, Celestial Alchemy over here says the beauty of freedom of speech is just that you're free to express yourself. Once a group starts deciding what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, we are no longer free. Do you agree with that that sentiment?
So this whole thing we've been talking about TikToks and everything like that, it's a very touchy subject, which is why I haven't been talking. I've been waiting for my turn. Mm-hmm. I do agree in one point. I'm on the fence with a lot of things because a lot of people say they hate cancel culture, right? But let's say this. Let's bring up a hypothetical here. If you guys saw a channel that were a bunch of racists and they were starting to talk, I guarantee you the people say they hate cancel culture would try to cancel that.
Right.
So it's hypocrite. It's hypocrisy. It's just right there. I mean, in the Marine Corps, and I'm sure, Mr. Soldier over there, he can agree with me too, is we served with everybody. Right. I served with Iraqis. I served with, I've served with racists. I've served with everybody. I mean, everybody's my brother and my sister. Do I like their point of view? No. Am I going to try to cancel them? No. So I think it's a little bit ridiculous. And then these people on TikTok, you know, faking disabilities and everything, you know, sadly, Phoenix, I disagree with you. Is I don't care if you're 16, 17, 31, 55, 102. If you fake a disability, you know, like, I'm not going to hire you. You know, if I find it years later, I'm not going to hire you because I have brothers and sisters in the Marine Corps who died, you know, who have major disabilities. I have a major disability, you know, so you faking that, I don't care how young you are, how old you are, you're wrong.
Right. You know that's not right. It doesn't, you don't have to be an adult to know that's not right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're a very messed up individual. I mean, at 15, I knew you don't fake something like that. Like, that's ridiculous.
That's just
Yeah,
it though.
absolutely not.
That's just it though for me, because I work with kids that come from very challenged backgrounds. I'm a teacher now, and I work with theater, and I especially work with kids who have like a lot of issues, right? And they're not just made up; they're real. But at the same time, some of them do kind of make stuff up for attention because they're having a very challenged background. Maybe mom and dad are getting a divorce, or dad is an alcoholic or something. Like they're in my program for a reason. It occurs to me that some of these kids maybe some of the stuff that they say, because we work with, you know, some of the stuff they say could really get them in trouble now. But maybe someone like me or one of the other teachers or someone can finally get to them later. And I don't want that to affect them now. Like, they're being influenced by bad stuff right now.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, but to me, that is a form of disability because you grew up in a bad background. You had something that affected your state of mind to make you want to do that. That to me is a disability. These people on TikTok who are just faking a disability to freaking make money, you know, screw you. Like, you know, I don't like you. I don't want anything to do with you.
But we don't. My argument is we don't have the context for what those guys are going through when they turn off the camera, and that's just sort of like my thought now after working with these type of kids.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now let me ask you guys this, and let's get Jim's thought on this. We haven't heard a lot from Jim, but okay, so we're talking about freedom of speech and cancel culture, right? But what about things where so Josh was just talking about, what if you had a group that was like racist on there, right? But what about some of these other groups? Like, what do they call these people? MAPS, minority attracted people, or something like that. Or what about like groups that could potentially be dangerous? Should they also have freedom of speech in the same way everybody else does? If I want to get together and start the Ku Klux Klan Fairfield, should I be able to do that?
You would be welcome, Van. But
well,
you know,
Fairfield, I might be.
The Korean dude starts the KKK.
That's
crazy.
I mean, in my personal opinion, if you tried to, you know, let's do hypotheticals again. If you tried to start, you know, a KKK, you know, freaking festival, you know, here in Reno, am I going to cancel you or stop you? No. Am I going to like it? Fuck no.
No.
You know, but I'm not going to cancel you. That's your freedom of speech. That's what I defended. Now, do I like what you do? No. Do I want to punch you in the fucking face? Yeah, I want to punch you in the fucking face. But, you know, I'm not going to cancel you because I fought for you. I fought for your freedom of speech. Whether I like it or not, I took an oath to defend what you do. You know, whether I fucking care about it or not. You know, it's something that I take my oath seriously.
Well, I guess this might go to you and Phil, both being in the military. But you know, does it get hard to justify that sometimes when people's opinions are like so incredibly out there? You know, if somebody says, "Oh, I think it's okay for adults to have sex with minors," and is it okay for you to say, "Oh, I'll defend your freedom of speech"?
Whoa,
Examples. No.
This just came out of fucking.
Real quick, Phil.
I was going to say, I defend your right to say what you want to say. I may not agree with it, but I defend your right to say it. You know, so I mean, like, it's the same thing where like the Colin Kaepernick stuff. Like, a lot of people were talking about how wrong that was and everything. It's like, no, it is a form of protest. He is right in his freedom of speech. Whether I agree with it or not is a whole different thing. My personal feelings are going to be different. Everybody's personal feelings are going to be different, but he has a right to do what he did, whether you agree with it or not.
And real quick, guys, that's just part of my PTSD. Please don't mention like adults with kids.
Yeah.
Don't that like freaks me
Sorry.
out.
Yeah,
it's all good. You guys didn't know. Just
I apologize. I was just trying to think of something so egregious that you couldn't possibly defend it.
I mean, no, it is. I took an oath, and it is very, very hard to defend certain beliefs and certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But will I still do it? Yeah. Do like people like that who like kids? Do I want to kill you? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I find you, will I? Maybe.
I say it all the time. It's like, you have the right to say what you want, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't come without consequences, right? If you want to run around and spew around and say that you're a Nazi, by all means. Am I going to punch you in the face for it? Probably.
Well, it's why
absolutely.
It's why people like you guys exist, though, right? Because some people like you do hunt down the monsters in the world, right?
Yeah. Hashtag punch Nazis in the face.
Yeah. So
damn straight.
Yeah, that's why I think this whole cancel culture, people, it's almost everybody. Because I do call people out on it. They'll be like, I hate cancel culture. I hate cancel culture. I'm like, okay, but if you saw a racist, if you saw somebody posting up, kids petting those guys dressed up in a gimp dog outfit, would you cancel them? And they're like, well, I want them on TV. I was like, then you're a hypocrite because you want to cancel them. You want to get them canceled. Right. That means you do care about cancel culture. It's just you are wanting cancel culture the way you want it.
Right.
So, I hate hypocrites like that,
I think it becomes so difficult because, we do have, I hear a lot of times you'll hear conservatives will say it's the liberals that are the cancel culture, but you see it just as much on both sides of the alley. Both people are doing it. They're just doing it in different ways, and nobody wants to admit what they're doing. But let me ask you this, and I will stay away from that topic. I do apologize, but let's use racism, right?
Oh, well, one second. Let's go back to, because I can say as I've been a journalist and I've been a historian, and I've actually taken oaths to protect the record, right? And at the same time, we had all these people knocking down statues, trying to burn documents, and as a historian, we look at it differently. We try to say, we have to look at what the time was, what the beliefs were, what the knowledge was about things, right? Like you say, we look at a moment in time of slavery and those sort of things. We have to look at what was going on politically, economically, those sort of things, and then we take it and we write papers about what did they believe, what did they feel, what do they know, were they educated, where has the world gone from there. And so people get so mad, they're like, oh, we just want to destroy things. And it's like, don't destroy things, because those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat. We're gonna, if you don't at least save it and be like, okay, no, this is why it's bad, this is what happened, this is, we want to save this stuff so that it'll never happen again. Like, I love Germany's on the Nazis, right? They have their children swear that something like that will never happen again. And they go through and they teach them over and over again, like, this is exactly what happened. We have museums, we have papers, we have documents, we have schools. Like, they teach it fervently so that it'll never happen again. Like, this is what happened.
Evil.
Yeah.
There's no you don't go to Germany and there's a statue of Himmler just hanging out in a square. Like, if you want to talk,
absolutely, yeah.
I had to throw this just that example, the one example there. Statues in general, right? Like, so the people taking down Confederate statues and people getting pissed about it and saying it's history. Confederate statues were erected in the 60s. They were not erected in the 1800s when the Civil War was happening. They were put up during Jim Crow so that they can tell black people they need to be put back in their place. So those statues need to be pulled the fuck down. I'm just throwing that out there.
My idea is that put them in a context, right? Like, take them
Destroy
and
that shit.
Some people will say, like Phoenix, that they belong maybe in a museum so that, instead of having them...
St. Indiana Jones, tear those shits down.
Yeah, no,
I disagree.
I was gonna say, do not revere the enemies that lost the war. Why are we putting statues up of people who lost the war?
Right.
See, I disagree on that because I think that that's part of our history. I mean, you know, Robert E. Lee, yes, he was a racist, but he did take an oath with the Confederacy, same as we did.
Mhm.
You know, so yes, was he a bad person? For the most part, absolutely. But at the same time, that is part of our history. You know, we need to keep our history. Even Germany still has a museum with certain things about Hitler to teach them what happened. You know, we shouldn't tear down the statues. I do agree with Ark here is that, you know, maybe they should be in a museum. You know, if you want to tear down the statue, at least put it in a museum so we know where we come from, what our history is, so we don't repeat it, because we are doomed to repeat it if we tear this stuff down and just get rid of it all.
But again, the context of what when those statues went up wasn't, oh, hey, we're honoring war heroes that from
that time period,
Confederacy. They were put up in the 60s. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, I get what they were put up for,
Yeah.
but what do they mean now? Just because they were put up in the 60s doesn't mean that's what it means now.
Right. Well, again, I mean, again, you can have a Civil War museum where you have the history on there, but when you have statues in place of reverence,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That's where I say, like, tear that shit down. You can put them in a museum, or you can put stuff in a museum where you can learn, like, this is who Robert E. Lee was. This is who, you know, all the different leaders of the Confederacy. This is who these guys were. But in putting them up in cities and saying, here's a Confederate hero, like, no, that is the enemy of the state. That is somebody who lost the war. No other country in the world honors the enemies of their state.
Yeah. And I say Robert E. Lee was in between because, you know, my great-great-grandfather, I'm directly related to Ulysses S. Grant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of Robert E. Lee's books, you know, and Grant's books is, you know, they wrote down that they used to meet on the battlefield and have coffee together and, you know, actually talk. And even Robert E. Lee, even though he did own slaves, yes, he even admitted that he did not like owning slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was just doing his job. He took his oath.
Our forefathers,
you know, he was still a terrible person, you know, for, you know, fighting for the Confederacy, owning slaves. But in that time period, did he know truly that he was an evil person, or was he just fighting for the side that he believed in most?
Right. Hey, really quickly, I want to say what's up to Mr. John Michael. Thank you for tuning in from Korea. We are talking right now about TikTok and cancel culture in general. You know, is it, you know, do we take it too far? Should we be allowed? Should people be allowed to say what they want? My question is there a point where it can go too far? Okay, so our two gentlemen that we have from the three gentlemen from the military here in our group, you are defending people's rights to say what they want, right? But what if I made a TikTok channel and I want to say a whole bunch of racist things? I'm going to say a whole bunch of bad things against a certain group of people, and maybe I don't act on it, right? It's my right to say what I want. But then maybe I have followers out there who maybe they don't have the mental capacity to not act on those things. We heard about that guy that went and shot up a pizza place because of what do they call it? Pizzagate during the Hillary Clinton thing.
It was
there was supposedly a pizza place that was
a QAnon thing.
Right. So what I'm saying is that even if you yourself wouldn't commit any violent acts, you could be the leader who encourages somebody else to do a violent act.
I don't really see us as being all that free anymore. Everybody's on TikTok or Facebook or social media.
That's right.
You don't really have the chance to say anything you want because you agree to their terms and conditions. Yeah. So, yes, thank you.
I mean, take for instance me and Phil. I mean, we have, as the military, we have a church, and it's called the Southern Baptist Church. They protest us all the time. Thank God for IEDs. You know, we hope soldiers die. They protest military funerals and stuff like that. They are racist against the military. They wish us death. And I still stand for what they say because they have the right to say it. Now, does me and Phil want to go there and beat the hell out of every single person that attends that church? Oh, hell yeah. But I am going to defend what they do because that's what I have to do. That's what I took the oath for.
Mm-hmm.
But I still want to go beat the shit out of every single one.
Yeah, you have a right to protest. I mean, that's you have your right to do that. And again, do I want to beat the shit out of everybody at Westboro? Hell yeah. But I mean, you have a right to say what you want. So
yeah,
John,
sorry.
John, let me ask you, as somebody who is in the public eye a little bit more, somebody who is an actor, do you think you have a responsibility for what you say? So, like, let's say you start your own John Michaels TikTok page and you've got 100,000 followers. Do you have some responsibility to those followers to I guess kind of monitor what you're saying or what you're telling people?
I think that everybody who is aware of the what can happen from the things you say has to take responsibility for it. I think that I want to speak to when I first came on too about the whole Confederate statues thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that's interesting is that the people who complain about statues coming down are often the people who also don't want slavery taught in schools. So the fact that there is this, they're clearly one-sided in what they think is our history and what isn't our history. Mm-hmm. And their arguments are disingenuous mostly. So they have an agenda that is clearly, about the maintaining white supremacy or at the very least not recognizing the struggles of others and being solely centered on their own.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole argument, so I don't know what everybody else was saying or thinking about it. So I apologize if I'm repeating. But regarding the whole free speech thing, I used to be somebody who felt that free speech, freedom in general, there was a certain price that was paid for freedom and freedom of speech, which was sometimes people do bad things because they use that freedom to do something bad and to harm others. The thing is, but that was always such a small percentage, and so you would have all these people making these, in the 80s, certainly with the PMRC, you had people who were taking very small, percentage of people doing bad things, like a tiny, 0.0001% of listeners to some, heavy metal would do something bad. And so they want to ban all heavy metal. So they have this real lowest common denominator approach.
The satanic panic.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, but the problem is now is that with the way that things have been, what's the word I'm looking for? When amplified, the way things can be so easily amplified, it's clear that this free speech is becoming weaponized, and it is being used as a way of basically tearing apart democratic societies. I don't doubt at all that it comes from interference from without and finding worthy or willing bad actors within the country and to try and tear us apart and pit us against each other.
Well, wasn't that a thing during the last two elections that Russia actually had like bots that were setting up accounts, and basically their whole thing was just try to get people fighting against each other. There wasn't even really.
Yeah, and now it's funny because now that the Russian money the taps have been turned off somewhat, a lot of those bots are disappearing from social media. So anyway, but in terms, so do we have a responsibility? I think that anybody who says, well, I have freedom and I can say whatever I want, and wantonly disregarding the effect it's going to have on other people is being disingenuous and being an asshole, frankly. I mean, if you're saying things that you know that some certain segment of the population it's going to either operate as a dog whistle, or it's going to make it so that people are, going to start attacking other people or something, then you have an if you know that, then you have an obligation as a human being, as a decent human being, to not propagate that kind of speech. But being able to discuss things openly and have a conversation that is critical, that's where things get a little more difficult. When people say you can't say that word, even though you're framing it in a certain context wherein you're being critical or you're trying to have a debate or a conversation, that's when things get a little more difficult to figure out. This is all just my opinion, obviously.
Right.
I tend to speak like I'm some kind of authority. It's just my voice.
It's speak. That's kind of the way I am. It's like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you must know what he's talking about." No, I just my voice.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. I don't know anything more than anybody else at all. I just have a way of talking that tends to be like that. Sorry.
Yeah, for a moment, I was about to think the American flag was going to pop up behind you. I was about to stand up.
Stand up and salute.
Oh, you saluted so wrong there, Phoenix.
Shut up. I'm not
fucking...
The hell kind of salute was that, Ezra?
No, that was her. That was her. She did that.
The Air Force camp.
She did that. I mimicked her.
What just happened just now to Ezra is the perfect example of what happens. Oh, sorry. I just talked over him.
No, I'm a civilian and always will be. So yeah.
She went.
Yep.
Right. But John does make a good point, right? Like one person says something, or Ezra was imitating Veronica, but people missed him imitating her, so they attacked Ezra for Ezra doing the incorrect way, and now Ezra looks like the asshole.
Wow. Well, it is Ezra.
I think that is a perfect metaphor for how the internet works.
Wow, thanks for calling me out, making me look like an asshole.
And so it goes down the line, and now we all hate each other. That's it.
Absolutely, that was
have done it again.
No, I love every single one of you. I plan on taking you guys out for steak and lobster.
Oh hell yeah! Shrimp and
hold on. There's a caveat here. Who's cuddling with me after?
Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me, man?
What are your thoughts on all this? If considering what we have with the cancel culture, and that we should have freedom of speech, but there does seem to be limitations. And I think one of the other things that makes it difficult, and I'm not going to get on anybody's side, or whether you're Republican or liberal, conservative, whatever, but let's just say that during the last 4 years, there was a term that specifically came up from the White House that I loved. It was something, it was like different equivalencies or something. It was like seeing the truth, but maybe we have different truths. I can't remember how exactly. Alternative facts. We seem to live in this day and age where you can get alternative facts every which direction. No matter what your argument is, you can find somebody that will argue for you. Yeah. So how do we have a clean debate? How do we talk together if we can't acknowledge the same set of truths?
That's just it, though. People have lost the ability to debate. I've had people that just back out of the room when I start to talk, and you're sort of like, why can't you have this conversation with me? Right? Just, have the conversation. Let's debate. You don't even have to debate. Let's talk about, your feelings, and then you listen to mine. It feels like in the last 10, 20 years, people have lost the ability to really be able to do that. And it's like, why are we losing that art? Because it's an art.
Because both sides are incapable of seeing the other side's point. That's kind of where it's going at this point, right? And it happens on both sides. It's people go into a conversation with a mindset and are unwilling to learn what the other side sees, right? Because you hear conservatives complain about it more, but they're just as ignorant as the left is. Like, everybody goes in and says, "I'm right, you're wrong. and we're not going to see eye to eye, and that's where it goes. So
Right.
that's where the problem is people aren't open-minded enough to see what other people's opinions and views are.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
All right, let's slowly start getting off this topic because it is getting way too political.
all right, let me. Can I put a button on it then? The as probably I think the oldest person in the room.
Maybe not.
When I was younger, they used to actively teach critical thinking in schools, and when I went to college, Reagan was still president, and so yeah, I was born in the 60s, so
right.
but so Reagan was still president, and there was an active they were actively reducing the budgets for education,
Right.
and they've basically been doing that. My generation was the most educated, and had the highest budget of like the human species or something, something like that.
I think college used to be free in California back in the day.
yeah, it was like $2,000 for like the fanciest one or something, for
Right.
state school. But anyway, and I remember they were debating. It was like somebody like from Tennessee or something. Some congressman or state official was saying we can't have critical thinking taught in schools because that's when they start questioning their ministers and their parents and their
Refusing to pick up a
their
gun.
authorities. So there was an active attack on the teaching of critical thinking. So now we are seeing the
results
fruits of that. So I mean, all the stuff you're talking about people not being able to see the other side and all that stuff, that's a basic thing that you get from teaching critical thinking and what they call the liberal arts education and the humanities.
I sometimes wonder, does truth even
You're insulting
exist?
my degree now. Thanks.
What's your degree?
I'm arts and letters.
Yeah, well, the liberal arts is that's like the education system that generally would cover critical thinking. I'm saying that is being reduced now, but even within it, I remember even back in the 80s, in 80, my first it wasn't my first job, but I had moved to this town called Provincetown in Cape Cod when I was a teenager, and there was I was flipping burgers. It was I think it was 88 or no, maybe 87. It was 87. And I met this fellow worker, this woman had just graduated from her degree in political science from University of Wisconsin. This is 1987. The Soviet Union is still around. The Cold War is raging. We're all still constantly terrified of nuclear war. And this woman was a political science major, has her degree, and she had never read Marx.
Wow.
The principal philosophy of our biggest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And she had never even read the founding text.
Right.
And that to me was when I started seeing like, oh, we're fucked. Like this is a state school. This is a degree. And these people don't know anything. So
you have to understand political ideology in order to have any kind of opinion on it.
Oh, there's people calling themselves Marxists now, and I'm like, do you realize that our grandparents were hunting them down years ago and like looking for them, and now you think that there's some, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, it's a whole lot of people are refusing to study history, and that goes back to we need to save the record so that people understand. Because I have friends that are calling themselves Marxists, and they have no idea about what happened with McCarthy hearings and whatnot. Like, McCarthy hearings, what's that? And I'm like, oh my, I'm
well,
done.
I
I'm
actually
done.
have my friend's father was jailed. He worked at the State Department, and he was jailed by McCarthy.
Yeah.
I don't want to give the impression that I am anti-Marxist by any means. I have no problem at all with socialism. I do not agree with communism or any kind of state-sponsored authoritarianism, but having a system that takes care of the least of us, I think, is something we should all be striving for. That I'm not a big fan of the hyper individualism of late stage capitalism that we're presently in. That's just destroying our planet as we speak.
That's an interesting question to ask you, particularly since you are living in another country right now, John. You're the only one here on this panel not living in the United States. But in the United States, we tend to be more, it's about individual rights, right? It's about individualism and what my rights are. But where you live at, it tends to be more of a social thing, right? More of a group, people looking after each other's rights.
Well, yes and no, I would say. The where I live, the philosophy that kind of undergirds all of society is called Confucianism, and that has a bit more of a collectivist point of view in that, but the fundamental kernel, whereas in the U.S. under capitalism, the fundamental unit of the population is the individual. In East Asia, the fundamental unit is the family. So such that a homeless, like single person, homeless person would be called a single family, as opposed to an individual. So, but there is definitely, like here, there was never any issue at all when it came to masks. Like, it was just, yeah, of course, wear a fucking mask. Right. You know, there's a pandemic, put on a mask. Right. We all let's all try and help each other. And there was not even a moment's hesitation. And people, there's already been a culture of that where for decades, or, you know, more than decades. Well, I don't know how long masks have been around like that, but if you have a cold, you wear a mask.
Right.
So
to protect the group,
giving it to everybody. Yeah,
it's also been incorporated into Asian culture a lot longer than Americans have done it. Like, you saw them years ago on the news, like wearing them already
in the subway.
Yeah.
It's always been a thing. So in that regard, it's very different. But that said, there is currently in Korea, Korea's been, even though Korea is more closely, if you were to say it's similar to another, like a Western country, it's most similar to a European country, like Germany or something. But it tends to get its values imported from the U.S. So, whereas they have the East Asian Confucianism thing, there's also some problems with kind of the hyper-capitalism thing going on here, and we have a wealth disparity that's growing very quickly here as well. So it's up there. And they don't really have welfare per se, because, like I said, things are based on the family. So it's expected that each family is going to take care of the rest of its family members. Right. So when you have something like a single family and people are falling through the cracks, those people can often be neglected.
Wow. Jimenez, you've been quiet a lot of this time. You got anything to contribute here?
Well, it was great just sitting back and listening. And as I was listening, I realized it's not a issue with a freedom of speech. That's not the question. The question is, like, do unto others. Like, that's the next step, is like, you have to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, have empathy for somebody else. And if you're treating somebody a certain way and you would not like to be treated that way, you probably shouldn't be doing it. So that's what it comes down to.
Here.
So,
wait a minute.
Dude, we need Ezra. We need to get one of those.
It's about $7,000. Good luck.
7,000? You're tripping, dude.
Yeah.
Now, how does this
Dude,
get back
I
to
could
TikTok?
get a little fart machine that's got a laugh track on it for $5 at the dollar store.
And you can also, there's one online. I mean, you can download a free app. It's Sound Q, it's called, or something like that, or Q something.
Quit
or
giving him
something with
ideas.
a Q.
Knock a
I don't need
zero
more
off
work.
of that.
Quit giving him ideas.
Knock a zero off of that in about $200. No, it's what is it? Closer to like 500? No, it's.
I spent
the Black Magic ATEM Mini.
No, I've got.
We have the Roadcaster.
Ezra, give me a lightsaber, and I'm gonna start giving ideas.
That's not my decision. That's his.
And he's local too, dude. He can come and give us a ton of ideas. All right, y'all. We are coming up on the 2 hour point.
We're over the 2 hour mark.
Settle down, Ezra. Settle down.
20 seconds. 20 seconds over. He's in a tizzy over 20 seconds.
Over there.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we started this conversation about TikTok, and then it got real political. But like, just to bring it back around, I want to ask John: do they have TikTok in Korea? What are kids doing to rebel, or actually, I guess, express themselves over in Korea?
I'm 52 years old. How the fuck am I supposed to know?
That's a damn
You tell me.
I see a window.
I'll give you my address. You can put it in a letter because I don't know. What is this computer
That
thing?
sounded like a very grandpa question for another grandpa. What are those kids doing?
I see a window right behind you. Go lean out the window and ask.
But I don't know if how popular. I don't use TikTok. I don't know how popular TikTok is. But every once in a while, my sister sends me a cat video. But I don't know what the young people are doing. There's a strange and disturbing movement going on here with young people. The polarization that's happening. There is a very disturbingly large and vocal group called Ilbay, or it's a website called Ilbay, where lots of incels, what we would call incels, are on. And then there's a group of women called Magalia who kind of try to they call themselves radical feminists, and it's just like people. I don't understand how the word feminism was able to get so distorted and taken over by the right wing to make it into some evil thing when it just means treating people equally. But yeah, so here that is like this big thing. There's a really heavy duty, deep divide between young men and women in this country.
It's because people don't even study history again, and because that's been my argument the whole time. People aren't paying attention to history and what's happened. There was a project back in, I think, like 2005, where a bunch of guys got people to sign away suffrage, women's suffrage, which is, women's right to vote.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, women's suffrage is terrible. It's like, oh my God, like, what?
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of women sign a petition against suffrage.
Women's suffrage.
In fact, the people that did that got in trouble for, I guess, making fun of women or whatever. I totally remember that. I want to start getting us closed up. I mean, this has been an absolutely fantastic time, but that's why we do it every Friday night, right? Do we want to go around, and are there any last thoughts that people had either on our movie theaters obsolete, or TikTok in the future of cringe, I guess. We'll start with you, Jimis.
Keep it under 2
With me?
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go. I'm not worried about TikTok or any other social media. If it lasts, it'll last, and it'll become the new norm of whatever the new norm is, and be part of our zeitgeist of our culture. So we'll just get used to it, just like how we got used to tattoos and people of LGBTQ community. You know, it's like it is what it is, and everybody will grow.
Right.
Moving on.
Right. Phil, what you got?
I mean, nothing really to add. I've said a lot tonight, so I mean, you know, I already talked too much as it is, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. We'll go with that. I'm not normally this political, so if you guys watch our show, you will not hear any of this.
Right. This is definitely nothing like our Sunday night show. In fact, it's kind of funny, since we started doing this show, I've had to start sending out announcements to our hosts or our guests that we do on Sundays, in case they happen to tune into this show and think that that's what our Sunday show is going to look like. So I've been having to tell people, I just want to let you know the show you're doing on Sunday is nothing like what you're going to see tonight. So yeah, I definitely a lot more political here. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, with the movie theater thing, I think, doing the, what I was talking about was the cinema cafes. I think that would draw in a lot more people. And in regards to TikTok, I mean, like I stated, I took an oath. So, as much as I don't watch TikTok, I won't let my kids watch TikTok because they've seen some weird crap that they've been asking me about. I'm obviously gonna, I don't think TikTok's gonna last personally. I think it's just gotten too crazy, but I just think it's going to get worse from here. But, hey, if it stays, good on you.
Right. All right. Who was next on there? John, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Jamez. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. Sure. That works out.
I think that, the world is constantly changing, and we're all going to be old people screaming at the kids one day. So
stay off the grass.
Let's just try to. I'm just always fascinated and excited and scared by how the future is unfolding. Scared in a good way, scared in a bad way, and so I'm just kind of along for the ride. Just kind of watching from the sidelines. As for movie theaters, I don't really see the need for them myself. I think that it can be a fun experience, but I haven't had an experience like I did when I was a kid for a really long time. I think it's a great place for kids. I think those memories I have from that time, watching Star Wars in the theater, watching Jaws in the theater, watching, Close Encounters. Those are indelible memories that'll never go away. And I think that, the idea of these big tentpole things like Marvel and whatever kids movies, I think that's great for. I have no problem with movie theaters basically just being for that. I think there's enough outlets for adults, and adults don't really like to go out and spend all that money.
Offhand, primarily most of your work has been through television and streaming services, right? As opposed to, say, the typical big screen.
Yeah, I've been in a few movies that I've seen. I have seen myself on the big screen,
Right.
which is pretty exciting. But
Peninsula, I'm guessing, was probably one of them.
I didn't see that in the theater. I was in one called I don't know what it is in English. It's Namsani Bujangdo in Korean. But what was it? There's one called Samjin Group Young Atoakban, Samjin Company's English class, I think it's called in English.
Mm-hmm.
I saw those in the theater. I think those are the only two that I'm in that I've seen in the theater.
Right.
There's a one coming out soon. Emergency Declaration is going to be in U.S. theaters, and I'm in that one.
Woo! We'll all rush down there. Make sure to go check out John's flick when that comes out.
We'll rent a theater out like we used to do.
Yeah, I'll be there for
fuck my movie. I mean, fuck movie theaters, except for when my movies are showing.
That's the right opinion.
USA.
Right?
If anybody wants to, my OnlyFans is TikTok Marine. Okay. So if anybody wants to see my OnlyFans, yeah, Phoenix.
You got to pay the bills somehow.
You exclusively get to watch him fap to the Marine Corps sign.
No, Phil, it's too Crayola.
There we go. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite flavor?
I actually like the purple.
Really?
They came out with it back in 1998, and it was the new flavor of Blurpleberry. It was actually quite delicious.
Most Marines like red paraffin wax. So, I mean, you know.
No. I actually have been to the Crayola factory.
Of course you have.
They had sample platters right there for all the Marines.
Yeah. With the toothpicks in it.
The buffet.
Phoenix, any final thoughts?
I'm actually excited about where the digital age is going, but then again, I think I'm the only millennial here. Or no, Phil's a millennial. Aren't you?
Come on.
Yeah, you're a millennial. Yeah. But yeah, my generation is all about the digital age and having a lot of access to everything. I loved having extra access to movies right off and not having to go to a movie theater. I've never been that interested in going to a movie theater. Just having everything at the tip of my fingers has been my whole lifetime, right? So I'm excited where this is going, right? I can create my own movie theater and do all sorts of stuff like that. Then again, I've been in film for years, so I'm sort of interested where this goes. And the history and the future of it, and watching it evolve. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Right. And really quick, I wanted to say too. I could let's see. Say Wong had a comment up here. Xi Jinping owns a portion of TikTok, I believe, and yes, it is true that the Chinese government basically owns any business that is within its borders. So they can. The president of China can go into any corporation and ask for their information. So in that way, TikTok, there are concerns by some people that TikTok may be kind of like an espionage platform within different countries. So that was an interesting comment.
If it is, China's getting some weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what they're really learning about. They're probably learning that it's going to be easy to kick our ass. That's probably what they're.
Those Americans are into cringe.
No, it is not easy to kick America's ass.
Really,
it doesn't matter what the kids are doing.
Have you seen these mukbang videos?
Have you seen Texas? There's more guns than people there.
Well, this is
not
true.
wrong.
This is true. All right, I want to
take
thank
guns from Americans. They will turn anything into a gun. They will turn a drill into a gun. If we had to fight a war with nothing but Civil War cannons, you'll see a redneck driving down with his pickup truck with a Civil War cannon in the back of his truck. Somehow he made it into a semi-automatic.
I think the thing that's a little different now than it was then, or how things are different, is back in the day they had the original Red Dawn. The movie was about Russia coming in and taking over, and all these people who had their own guns, they all took on the Russians and took back the America. And now half those people who have guns are pro-Russia and pro-Putin. So,
hey,
I'm
just saying, man, Marines have never lost a war. So, I mean...
I know that look, Phil.
I want to thank everybody
Rangers
who has
lead the
come.
way. There's a reason we say it. So I mean, just.
I want to thank everybody that has come on tonight. I'm going to start with the two people that aren't on right now. Sleepy Sapphire, aka Mercedes. She had to get off early because she had to get up early in the morning. So I want to thank her. And Jim from Starforge Sabers, who is not currently on. I wanted that, we got most distance nerding here. You know what was funny when Phoenix showed up? When she popped on and she was like, "The fuck are Gemini's and Phil doing here, dude?" The look in your face when you realized the other rest of your crew was here was priceless.
Why?
But anyways,
here
I want to thank Distance Nerding. If you guys have not checked out their podcast, please make sure you do. They are on all the social medias. You can find them everywhere. Josh is from Pop Culture Kaboom out in Reno. Is that 95.1?
95.1 KNBC. You can listen to us live, or you can go on the website knbc.org and click listen live. You can listen to us all day.
Woohoo! And you guys
Sunday,
are every
6 to
Sunday
9.
night, right?
Yep, Sunday, 6 to 9 p.m.
All right. So even if you don't live out in the Reno area, you can still check them out. And I want to thank Mr. John Michael of Squid Game and so many other Korean movies that we don't know out here. All kinds of K-dramas, for giving us his opinions tonight. These shows are always a lot of fun. I love being able to have this open format and not necessarily worried about not saying things that kids might not like. So I want to thank all of you for coming on tonight. Again, I honestly did not expect all of you to actually show up. I asked a bunch of people because we had our usual host is Tony Rubik's. And Tony dropped out tonight. I was like, oh, we should try to get like 1 or 2 more people. So I asked like 7 or 8, thinking that only one person would respond, and everybody responded.
Like I told Ezra, man, I completely enjoyed myself, and I definitely hope I get invited again.
Woohoo! We love you, Josh. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Now's the time for the crowds. I'm just throwing that out there.
You invited me just before I hit the curtain drop. So, but yeah,
I know. Yeah. I didn't think you were coming on. I thought you said you had to work or you had school or something. So we didn't think. That's why we invited the other 2 on. We were trying to go behind your back and shit. We were cheating on you with the rest of your crew.
And we didn't think that Alex was going to be on, and his wife let him on at the last second, and yeah.
All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Bella Burns, Bell. That is a name that Phoenix, was she a cosplayer on our? Why do I recognize that name? Belle Burns. I know that name from somewhere.
She said she worked for Disney.
Yeah, she's a cosplayer, a Disney cosplayer.
Is she okay? I was gonna say I know that name from
she's
somewhere.
on both our Facebook, so she must be something.
Cosplayer or cast member?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody that came on. Gino, Saber Paul, Say Wong. We had way too many people to list. Yoda Zen. For those that don't know, we will see you Sunday night. We do a show every Sunday at 7 p.m. called Saber Rattle, and we give away a free lightsaber every Sunday. So tune in this week. You'll find out who won last week's saber, and you will see the new saber that we will be giving out. So make sure to tune into that. And for those that don't know, our website is live. We've got some great prices on there. Tons of sabers, other accessories and t-shirts and keychains. Oh my, tons of fun stuff. So please check out kybercave.com and help support us so we can keep these shows on for you.
I just noticed Steve said sua sponte, and that is that's
wait, what?
near and dear to my heart right there.
What is sua sponte?
He's a man that understands where I'm coming from.
That doesn't help any of us out.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
It's our unit motto. Sua sponte means of their own accord. It means we do things because they need to be done, not because someone tells us to do it.
Ah, I like it.
For those who are really excited about the saber giveaways, please go to our website, and if you want to keep this giveaways going, go to the website and buy stuff so we can continue giving away a free saber, please.
All right. If we're not selling crap, they're not giving us crap.
Exactly.
Basically, that's how it works.
Damn saber, but me.
We are a damn lightsaber store.
And what do you have to do to get the saber?
They have my lightsaber.
All you got to do is subscribe to our Twitch or our YouTube or both. Whatever the last video was.
Like, comment, share.
Share,
and then screenshot the share and then send it to Kyber Cave Productions. And then from there, we'll enter you into the giveaway.
I shared this stream on 2 different places. Can you guys just check those out?
Not this stream.
This one doesn't count. We don't get sponsored for this crap. Nobody gives a crap about this show.
I'll do the next one too.
Stop showing off, guys. I'm getting jealous.
Yeah, Actually, I have 3 lightsabers now because one I bought another one with a former employee discount, and then I got what is it? Oh, and then I what was it?
You won the other one.
You have the one that's
And
in your
no,
hand.
and then we made one while I was working there.
Yes, you made your own custom.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll get you hooked up, Josh. Don't worry about it. We'll be, in fact, actually, there's a toy store in Reno specifically. I talked to the gentleman, and he wants to stock our lightsabers in that toy store. Some big toy store there. I can't remember the name.
Message me after this.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Yes, I will definitely do so. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We shall see you Sunday and next Friday at 9 on Kyber Cave.
Oh, sorry, wrong show.
Wrong show. We didn't even hear the whisper. Do it again.
Kyber Cave.
Thank you, Art. Thank you, Ezra.
Ezra, you got to get John. You got to get John to do a drop for the beginning of the show.
Oh, the after dark.
Yeah, we need that voice.
All right.
Thank you.